Okay, guys, how you doing? I'm gonna be right back, but let's not make excuses. We're not making excuses. And I think to say like that one should settle or like okay, here's the thing. Actually, I've got something to say. I watched this video recently where a guy was talking about like occult information, and he actually did like kind of a whirlwind of like fairly deep occult insights. And a lot of it, or some of it, Mark Passio has talked about. I actually put a comment on his channel, or on the video saying, like, I hear some Mark Passio in this, or whatever, a good explanation, or etc. But, and I was wondering if he'd say, like, yeah, I listen to Mark Passio. Like, there were a couple things. Um, First of all, the occult definition, it sounded similar to what Mark Passio says. And then also, he said something about like aligning your thought, action, and emotion. Passio talks about that, etc. But not that Passio is the only one who would, but it seemed, especially given the closeness of the kinds of things he was talking about to each other within what he had been saying, Passio seems to be an influence of this guy's. But in any case, this guy was saying something about how, like, I think, like, a spiritually. Wait, no, was that it? I think it's like, are you spiritually awakening, or signs that you are in a higher vibration fighting with the lower one? That might have been it. That might have been a different video. In any case, I think it's a bunch of gaslighting in a lot of cases. It's like, oh, signs, basically the signs you are in a higher vibration. Wow, what a coincidence. Those signs are, you don't complain about anything. Those signs are, on one level, I think it's very helpful. Like, you don't blame anybody. Blame is to be lame, as Michael Brown has said. Blame is to be lame, and that's very helpful. But I think there's also a real pattern that people have of blaming the victim, but then just be like, in so doing that, basically telling you like, if you're having trouble with people around you, that means you're not advanced. And it's like, well, that may be. I mean, hopefully somebody who like reached a very high level would not necessarily have trouble. But at the same time, like, okay, so what are you telling me? Are you telling me that, the people around me, if they're being mean to me, then it's my fault? Is that what you're telling me, really? Because that seems very convenient. And then like, if another group of people, like, they're actually nicer to me, and so I might be even doing basically the same thing and just getting a different response from people. And it's like, so, but in the first case, I deserve things to go badly. It's like, I don't know. Let's not get too solipsistic here. Or we can, I mean, to whatever extent that would be true, but it seems like it's just sort of basically them saying, ha ha, you weren't good enough, when it's like, imagine if you were having a sword fight with somebody and they pulled out, like they did the Indiana Jones thing and they pulled out a gun and they shot you. Is that really a case where it's like, ha ha, you aren't good enough? Or is that a case where it's like, oh shit, something else happened and somebody somebody broke the rules or broke the understanding and they did something, in this case almost quite literally underhanded? You still would probably like to be able to protect yourself from that if that happened, and so you could still say, well, if you didn't protect yourself, I guess you could have done better. But are you gonna blame someone for the other person pulling out a gun in what was supposed to be a sword fight, or are you gonna blame the person who pulled out the gun, right? Like, it's all about blaming the fucking victim. And by victim, I mean somebody who was affected by something else in a negative way, maybe, or in a deleterious one. It's all about blaming the victim. And so, we're so afraid of saying victim. Oh, we're so afraid of saying that anyone ever like did anything bad. It's like, all right, you can be afraid of that. But whether it's the good responses that you find on like synthetic man community thing versus probably like, for example, it's just Dead Domain, the YouTuber who doesn't like Synthetic Man or has criticized him a lot and whatever. It's like, okay, fine, Dead Domain, you can criticize who you like or whom you want, but it's like, imagine going to Synthetic Man and like having a nice set of responses and having people being kind of kind and funny, and you know they'll jab you a little bit, but it's all in it is actually in good fun. And then going to like a nasty group of people, like, you know, oh, like we hate all good, and we're so much better than everyone because we follow the false propaganda. And like, imagine interacting with that group of people. Now, you might have to be kind of insane to expect the same set of responses there, but I think that's a really good illustration of different groups of people might treat you differently, and perhaps if you find a better group, the way they treat you is actually more legitimate. It's not less legitimate. In fact, it's more legitimate, and it is less legitimate how a bad group would treat you. Because if a bad group is going to literally treat you based on dishonest assessments or dishonest things that they've been told, or, you know, they're just going to be sour just right off the bat and be really angry and mean and angsty to you and all that, then maybe like that's actually a very shitty assessment. And maybe that's similar enough to a child growing up in a bad house, and, you know, the kid starts off like maybe somewhat okay, and then the parents just like destroy the kid. And or at least not necessarily destroy them, but the parents may give them very, very little approval, and they may make life worse. They may treat the kid worse when the kid is better. And then, you know, God bless that kid in all ways, but also God bless them in the sense of, you know, maintaining goodness while getting zero rewards because their audience actually is looking for something different. Hey guys, so I had a good realization, and I posted it actually on a YouTube community, like a post, but show your power level. Now, one of the cool things that Synthetic Man will talk about is the power level. Now, he doesn't refer to it that often, but he's referred to it enough that I think many people would understand what I'm referring to. He's like, oh, you know, that was before I revealed my power level on YouTube, etc. Like, it's essentially, it's hilarious actually, because it's kind of like the whole coming out of the closet thing for people who seem to identify as gay. But it's actually like coming out of the closet as someone who has like at least 1 foot rooted in reality. And so what you want to do, or what is a good thing to do, is to reveal your power level, because you know why? There's no reason not to reveal it. There's no reason there's never been a reason. There's no reason never to reveal your power level. I mean, you could say, well, what about at work? Like, what about in a situation where I'm there to make money or something? Or, well, here's the thing. I'll stop you right there. Money is the root of all evil. Like, you're gonna sell your fucking principles for money? It's like, you know, it's like, oh no, Matt, money is the root of all kinds of evil. I'm not really a big fan of that sort of modern Christian kind of, oh, money's kind of good. It's okay. Like, it's like, didn't Jesus say it would be harder for a rich man to get into heaven than for a camel to go through the eye of a needle or something? Like, what? That seems fairly clear, and I know there are alternate explanations of that, where it's like, well, actually, a needle was like a real term for something that a camel would go through, and it was kind of difficult, but it was... I don't know how real that is, but I think it was a Baptist pastor who had said that to me, so that, you know, that may be legitimate, but you know, it's like basically, I think in all cases, actually, one should. How are you a true hero? How is one a true hero in their life? How about they're a true hero when in all cases they show their power level? In all they never hide their light. How about that? What did Jesus say also? Are you going to hide your light under a bushel? No, you shouldn't do that. Or at least it'd probably be better not to. I mean, you can do whatever, but I'm not demanding that you show your power level. In fact, maybe your power level, I'm not saying it's not, but, you know, perhaps somebody's power level is lower, and so, you know, whatever. But show your power, whatever. In lower, higher, it's like, you know, I think everyone potentially has all power. But show your, or whatever, maybe. But show your power level. Show your power level. You know why? Because think about it this way. What if somebody else is looking for somebody with a high power level? What if there's like a girl that actually is looking for a guy with a high power level, but none of the guys are showing their power level, so she has no fucking idea, unless somebody puts on like a surgical mask and they reveal a very low power level. She has no idea who has a high one and who has a low one. Or she might get some indications and she might be trying to sniff that out, but it's like, if a girl is looking for a chud and you're not revealing your power level everywhere you go, then how's she gonna fucking notice you when she sees you? You could literally spend a lot of time near someone, and if you're not revealing your power level, they might never fucking know. No, reveal your power level. Do it at all times, actually. Why would you not? Again, one fucking answer, why not? One fucking answer. You hear the slavery bell ringing, guys? Money. Well, in the first episode of the show, Mr. Robot, the main character, Elliot, he basically, now this show is very fraught, and it's kind of a bullshit scene because he's basically like turning someone into the cops. But then it's like, okay, but then you're kind of against the cops in a lot of ways in this series, Elliot. Like, but you're a hero in this first episode for turning someone in. It's like that's a little bullshit. We're not going to get into the specifics in this context, maybe, but in any case, it's still a great scene because of what Elliot says. Maybe the context is very kind of corrupted and shit, but Elliot, the guy's like, wait, he's like, I can make a deal with you, like, whatever, I can give you money. And Elliot turns around and he's like, I don't give a shit about money. And then he puts on his hood and he walks out the fucking place. And then this guy gets, like, descended upon by a bunch of thugs. But in any case, it's like, Elliot Alderson, I don't give a shit about money. Synthetic Man, I think, actually has said something pretty similar to that. And he's certainly, like, banned people who have, like, given him money. He banned Ricardo briefly. And I don't think it's the money that brought Ricardo back. I think it's the goodwill. And I also, like, you can, like, if you watch the video where he apparently banned Ricardo, like, well, in any case, I don't really think Synth relished banning Ricardo in the first place. Or if he did, it was kind of like heat of the moment, and he probably was like, oh shit, that was a bad idea. But, like, he doesn't give a shit about money. Like, he'll fucking, he's like, oh, what, this isn't worth it to me. Like, I'm gonna fucking, I feel like this is a humiliation ritual, and so I don't care about this fucking money. No, I will ban you. I'm not saying to go around banning a bunch of people or whatever, but what I'm saying is, money, if money is your answer for not showing your power level, then don't you have your fucking answer right there?